Your views on Turkey are very clear. Turkey does not qualify to be a member of the European Union. Erdogan has at times blackmailed the European Union, and there needs to be a response that is coordinated between all member states. So what does a unified political response look like to you by the end of the week? Is there more sanctions?
Oh, hello, good to see you. First of all, the main message to Turkey is that they delivered in the last years a very aggressive approach toward the European Union. We saw it with the migration flows beginning of this year, where Mitsotakis, the Greek prime minister, defended the external border. We saw the Hagia Sophia, the religious tensions. We saw the breach of international law in Syria, also in Libya, the interventions there. So that is what we experience. And that's why Europe has to stay together. And the Greek and the Cypriot interests are the European interests. We are one family. We are a union. And that's why, for me, the most important signal for Thursday this week is Europe has to stay together, has to unify, and have to send a clear signal to Erdogan. We want to have a partnership, but please stop your aggressive behavior.
So based on what I hear, you're saying sanctions may not be needed if we do see clear de-escalation from Erdogan. So I wonder, what does that de-escalation involve?
Well, we had last week a positive signal. That was that the ship about the illegal gas drillings in the Mediterranean Sea was stopped by Erdogan. That was a first positive step of de-escalation, and hopefully they both can agree on talks on common understanding how to use the gas. If they cannot agree, they have to go to the Hague. They have to respect the international law, and Kyriakos Mitsotakis is ready to do so. So hopefully Erdogan is also ready to do so. So a first positive small signal was there, but the list is long, and that's why we need the general discussion. I and my party, the European People's Party, we don't think that Turkey can join the European Union. We need a fresh start of the general relationships between Europe and Turkey. And there is a lot to discuss about the economic development in Turkey, where the customs union, the access to the European single market is for Turkey so crucial. And we also can talk about visas. So we want to close the file of full enlargement, but we want to open the discussion about a real strong future relationship if Erdogan is ready for such substantial talks.
And we talk about substantial discussions between the European Union and Turkey. At this point, the EU does pay good money to Turkey to contain that flow of migration. Is that a relationship that needs to be revisited? The fact that we're paying to Erdogan at times, you know, that relationship does not seem easy. And we do see that he does use that as political leverage. Is it time to rethink, A, whether the strategy is working, and 2, pull away some of that funding?
The European Union and we as European Parliament, we are ready for a new start of the EU-Turkey agreement on migration. It was in the interest of both sides. So we financed as Europeans, for example, the education of the children in the camps in Turkey, and that was a positive investment. And Turkey benefited a lot with infrastructure money and so on. That's good for both sides. That's why we are ready. But again, it's only one piece of the general relationships between Turkey and the European Union. And the general question is, do we have a partner or do we have someone who is challenging us? And that has to be answered. If Europe is united, then we can be strong. And that is, again, what we want to see on Thursday when the Council will meet.
And I take it your views, just as a final question on Turkey, joining the European Union potentially one day have not changed. You still believe it can be a partner, but not a member state.
Exactly. I think the last 10, 12 years, 15 years showed us that the approach to that Turkey can finally join the European Union was always a kind of an illusion. And that's why we have now a very difficult relationship. And that's why we think it's needed to make a general restart of the relationships. We are ready for partnership. We are ready for a good cooperation. But Erdogan has to show that he wants to do the same.
And the other big talking point is Belarus, what to do there. We know the European Union has said it believes the election was rigged, that Lukashenko did not win that election, and that there is going to be a list of sanctions that is going to be put forward at some time. We don't know when. But I have 2 questions with you on that. When do we get to see this list? And then 2, will Lukashenko be featured in it?
Lukashenko must be on this list. It's not understandable for ordinary citizens that we do such a list of sanctions against individuals, and the boss of everything is not on the list. So we have to do it. It's a question of credibility, and we have to see how strong and how firm and how convinced are the citizens of Belarus every weekend now out in the street fighting for democracy and freedom. And it's not only a question for the Belarusian people. It's also a geopolitical challenge for us, because 30 years ago, people went out in Dresden, in Warsaw, in Budapest, and fought for democracy and freedom. 12 years ago, it was Kiev in the Ukraine, and now it's Minsk. And people have the fundamental will and wish to achieve democracy and the free people, freedom for themselves. And that is what is at stake. And there Europe must be on the side of those who fight for democracy and freedom. It's our fundamental idea of being a European. And that's why the people in Belarus must see that we are on their side.
So you're clear on that Lukashenko has got to be on that list. If it's not, the European Union will lack credibility going forward.
Yes, exactly. And I would even go one step further, because for Belarusian development, the interference from Russia is crucial. Lukashenko gets already a lot of money from Putin, and probably we also see some activities from officials, from police, from even military side in Russia. And that's why we have to send also a clear signal to Russia. And the signal must be, don't intervene in Belarus. We are not doing so as Europeans. It's a free will of people in Belarus to decide about their future. But we expect from Moscow to do the same. And that must be a clear signal. After the Navalny case, it's clear that the Russian system is heavily under pressure, and they have to fight against the inter opposition in Russia as well. So and our signal must be, don't intervene.